Okay, this is episode 1 into, I guess you could call it my quest to self-mastery and forming my purpose of being. So the first topic I wanted to discuss today was helping yourself. Me and my best friend Cisco had a conversation about helping others, and where that stemmed to was this topic, helping yourself. And I wanted to expand upon it because it's one of those things that have been running around in my mind, and I just want to get it out there. So, helping yourself will start before you can help others. Okay. Helping yourself before you can help others. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you could Okay, so it means you couldn't have the ability to help them without helping yourself. So, what I mean by this is that if you're not at a 10 and you're trying to help your friend who's at a 4, and in reality you're really at like a 3, how are you going to help your friend get to that 10 like you want him to be, or her, and you're over here at 3? It's not going to happen. That's pure and simple. It's not going to happen. So what do we do about this? This is obviously a problem. Now that we realize and have established we can't help others before we help ourselves. What do I mean by helping yourself? Right? What do I mean by that? Okay. Well, first one, because this is my biggest one, eating properly. Eating properly is eating proper. That is what we're going to do. So anyways, eating proper is probably, I'd say, an A priority on an ABC scale of helping yourself and what you need to do. Because eating proper is going to do multiple things here, okay? Eating properly, believe it or not, will make you feel good. Okay. Now, what I mean by it'll make you feel good is your body is going to be very thankful for it. Your mind, when it first wakes up, if you're not eating anything and your stomach's empty, you're not going to be able to perform complex tasks as efficiently as somebody who ate, because your brain is going to be using calories that you don't have from not giving yourself breakfast. So that's why when people say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, they're not lying. So if you're not in the habit of eating breakfast like me, I'm still not 100% in the habit. What do? Eat something. You gotta eat something. That is key here. Okay, I don't care what you gotta do. 1 is always gonna be greater than that 0. Okay, if you eat nothing, I can't help you. No one's gonna help you. You can't be helped. If you eat nothing, you're not even helping yourself. Okay, so at least eat one thing, and if you can't even get to that 1 and you can only eat half of whatever item you chose, I'll take a 0.5 any day over this 0. Marginally better, way better. 50% over a 0% gain, I'll take that any day. Now, I'd like to see 100% gain, but baby steps. That's another discussion. Always baby steps. Remember that. Okay. So it'll make you feel good, right? And then also what it's going to do when you eat, it is going to curve the edge. So what do I mean by curve the edge? if anybody's like me, when I get hungry, I get a little bit, I like to call hangry. Now hangry is where we have the emotion of frustration, impatience, or you could call that hasty, I guess. And then you also have, obviously, the feeling of hunger. Okay, so when I get hangry, the problem with this is that it's not only affecting the people around me, it's gonna also affect myself. And what I mean by that is every decision you've made in life, no matter what, has led you to the point that you are now. So if I am making decisions in this hangry state, I'm going to be following the characteristics of frustrated, impatient / hasty, and hungry, right? And this all will equal anxiety, okay? These are all, because anxiety is not just one thing, it's a bunch mixed in together. This isn't for everybody. I'm not saying this is a general truism. This is just, for me, this will lead to anxiety, and that's also from the lack of blood sugar. But anyways, different topic, getting off topic. It'll not only affect the people around me, but it affects me directly and the decision-making process you go about. So going back to what I said, that every decision leads you to the point now. If you're in this hangry state, like I am, and I'm following these kind of characteristic patterns, what's also going to come into effect are different sets of habits and routine that I have made to counteract this. And whether those are good or bad is based on the habits. So one of the bad habits, for example, when I get hangry, is I'll start chewing my nails. That is one of the ones that'll affect me. So it also, when I say me directly, will start with habits. Your habits will change during this state because your habits are set the situations that you're in. So if the condition of your body is hungry, you're going to be set into habits that you do when you're hungry. And not all your habits are good for you. So that's one of my bad ones. And then one of my other bad ones is that I start to get in the circle of thinking about problems that are way too big to be tackled at the moment, and so basically getting in my own head, and that's kind of the anxiety factor too. And all of this really just stems from one thing: not eating, getting into this hangry state. And this hangry state has led me into so many troubles in my life, whether it was popping off, not being able to control my anger correctly, or just not doing things correctly, cutting corners because I'm being hasty, and and all these little things affected my future. And if all could have been counteracted if I just ate in that moment. And so that is why I stress so hard eating proper. And just the first step of eating one thing in the morning will take away this whole hangry feeling that you'll get. Now, let's go to the second topic I wanted to say in this. It's another A priority. We're going to talk about hydration. Now, this one is pretty much tied with eating properly, because you can not eat and survive for a longer time if you were only drinking fluids. That's a fact. Your body needs water way more than it needs food in a lot of cases. So hydration, what I want you to do is water. Just water. If you are not in the routine of drinking water habitually throughout your day, that needs to be one of your focus habits that you're setting for yourself. A1 priority. This month I'm going to set this habit, and if it's the only habit you have and you keep it for the rest of your life, good, because that is, pretty much the same step as eating properly, is water. And this is because, here's with water, the benefit for water, and you won't believe this is crazy. It's going to help you wake up. Okay? Why is it going to help you wake up? Well, because when you first wake up, you have been sleeping for X amount of hours, which means you have been, depending on the temperature of your environment, you have been dehydrating that whole period of time you've been sleeping. So if it's warm and you got yourself under your blanket and you're sweating, you're going to be dehydrating a lot faster as somebody who wasn't sweating in their sleep, but they're still dehydrating too, because your body's still working and doing things while you're sleeping, and it requires those fluids. So you're dehydrating. So when you first wake up, that's why a lot of people have that groggy, like kind of nauseous feeling sometimes, because when you have that nauseous feeling, it stems from that severe dehydration. At least with me, whenever I wake up and I feel really, really nauseous, I'm going to go slam down some water even if I don't feel like it, wait 10-15 minutes, and usually I can start feeling the effects lifting off, and I know it's worked. And also, it's going to help you stimulate yourself. Having that cold glass of water, it's gonna make you start feeling good, and because once you've established the habit, you kind of have a placebo. If we don't have to wait all that time, your brain will kind of take over and be like, yeah, you got your first glass of water, you've done this before, you know it's gonna work, and now you're feeling good. So this is a really good one. It helps you wake you up. It's a really good way to start the day off on the right foot, because you're gonna have that positive feeling of getting out of that feeling of waking up and having that sickness or groggy feeling from just having that cloud of I just woke up. Okay, second point of why hydration and drinking water is important is you're going to be able to function way better. So I'm going to say your functionality is going to improve way better. Okay, so if you're a real heavy soda drinker, any type of soft drink, or teas, or the dollar teas from the gas station, Arizona's, whatever, Peace Teas, all that kind of shit. I was there, never really drank water, and didn't realize the passive feeling that I was having every day from that, because if you don't know the good side of it, how could you even try to understand how the benefit how would benefit you. So long story short, I ended up not having the habit of drinking water. I ended up getting sick 4 months in a row, at the end of the month, pretty habitually, and I had cyclic vomiting, and doctors couldn't find anything wrong with me, and said that they were just rehydrating me with fluids and then send me on my way. And so I ended up figuring out, because I was looking up some stuff online, the causes of cyclic vomiting, and one of them was dehydration, severe dehydration. So I started just drinking water, and then ever since then, the last 6 months, since I'd say November, October, the last month, October, I haven't gotten sick, and it's all been thanks to just drinking waters. And now, because of that, I'm at work, I'm at school, I don't get sick and miss those things, and have any type of deficits in my budget, because now I've missed the X amount of days at work. So my functionality has definitely improved. My feeling too, I didn't realize the feeling your body has from only drinking water. And it's crazy now, because when I don't have water and I start to feel dehydrated, I'm almost hypersensitive to the feeling of being dehydrated. I didn't know what it was before. I never really recognized it. Until I've started getting on this cycle of only drinking water. I go maybe 2.5 hours without drinking any water. I get this kind of headache feeling. It's kind of like I'm starting to get weary a little bit, and I drink some water, and boom, waking back up, feeling stimulated, feeling better again. That headache starts to lift, refocused on what I was doing. So that's definitely a huge one. Drinking water throughout the day will improve your functionality. You won't know it until you try it once you go on the cycle. And then the third benefit is going to help with weight. If I don't have weight issues, never had weight issues, but I know, if just from people that I talk to, and just my whole life of knowing a broad range of just people who have weight issues, because it's not that hard in America to find people with weight issues, they drink soda, soft drinks, all this stuff, and I'm going to throw that disclaimer out there so nobody can hate on me saying I'm just insensitive, that if people have disorders that they're born with and that kind of stuff, and whatever, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who have just been they have a normal situation, and They took it to the extreme and ate out of, whatever reason that they ate to deal with stress or anxieties or fears or whatever they were doing it for, or just not knowing too. People just may not know, and then it's just like, well, I don't care, and then one day they're like, whoa, I care now because it's so excessive. So water will definitely help with weight, because it's gonna be a lot healthier for you compared to a lot of the soda products you're drinking that are adding all those like sugars. And I'm not a scientist, and I just know this stuff from people that I've talked to and research I've done online. I don't know the exact facts. I can't tell you like what's in Coke and that's bad for you. I can just tell you that I feel better from not doing it, and I don't have to worry about my weight, and I only drink water pretty much. The only times I cheat is if I'm drinking coffee throughout my day, or maybe a soda or two here. I'm not 100%. I'm not gonna say I'm some idol that doesn't cheat or whatever. I'm not in the habit of drinking soda. That's the important part, and you just really gotta try it to believe it, I guess. A lot of people are like, oh, water's too boring. Well, you can add little things to it that you can buy from the store that aren't going to be as bad for you to get you in the habit of drinking water. Like I said, instead of doing zero, instead of drinking no water, or instead of eating no food, eating something, it's always going to be better to have that one, oh my god, than that zero. So same thing with water. At least try one day to just at least try to drink majority of water. Like, just have one Coke that day or two Cokes. Like, maybe flip the rule. Like, maybe I'll just have one, and one is way better. We'd want to get to zero here if this was Coke/soda. Here, sorry. And we'd rather have you at one and then drink the majority of water, and it's going to be hard. But this is one of those habits, like I said, you need to establish. Is get out of the habit of drinking anything else. When you feel thirsty, it's water that punches you. You don't get that soda, because it's going to dehydrate you more. Like, I know that for a fact. Whenever I drink soda, it makes me more hungry, gets me bloated a little bit, and then I feel worse. I get more thirsty, so it's like a trap. Okay, and then, so I just erased all that, but I need some more room. We're going to go to the third and last point that I'm going to make. This is probably going to be a part 1, part 2, so I'm going to put part 1 up here, because I think I'm going to think of more stuff for this topic. I just don't want to make it obsessively long. So, right now, the last one we're going to focus on is, what are you feeding your brain? Here, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, what are you feeding your brain? So this is very important. I make sure, since I've started reading all these books that I've read, I'll go over a video in that later. But one of the main things that I've realized is what you feed your brain is important. And what I mean by the information you're absorbing throughout your day. So if you're watching news, I'm gonna put a good and a bad here, okay? In my opinion, these are not facts. Everybody's got their own opinion of things. These are my personal experience. Okay, on the bad side, I'm going to put news. We'll put cable news. Not even all news, because all news isn't bad. Cable news. It's just gotten way too out of control. There's no bias in it anymore. It's pretty black and white, and I don't like biased news. I don't care if it's left or right. If you're saying things in out of context or for a certain way on a personal agenda, I'm good. Like, y'all are just always stirring the pot, and it's just not a good source of information to be feeding yourself, because what they do is they kind of like false hype things, and you go and watch it, and they're like, oh, okay, after these ads and after this commercial. And it's like, I'm not into the whole scam of the news. There's been way too many instances I've seen on the internet. That's the great thing about the internet. Totally a wild land of information, and there's people not afraid out there to point out how bad the news is. I mean, it's not hard to go on YouTube and find a compilation of videos pointing out blatant lies of like CNN and all these other major networks, and it's really not that hard to find out that news cable, majority of it's fake, majority has an agenda, and it's just there to get views and keep you there. And they know that this is eventually going to become obsolete. They know that. And they know that YouTube and the internet and all the younger generations aren't feeding into the news because they haven't really changed it for that demographic. And that's a big problem for them. They're going to figure that out, though. They have a lot of money. So, anyways, news, bad for you. I don't agree with it. It's just going to keep your mind in a place that's not centered on yourself. And that's one of the big things is that you can't have things distracting you from your focused goal and things that aren't like to the purpose of what you're doing. And this is one of those things, like, do you really need to watch the news? Like, if you have a reason of, oh, I'm going to this place tomorrow and I need to make sure that it doesn't rain because I'm going outside, fine, check the news for the weather. But do you need to check the news because you're bored and you just like to sit there and watch it? No, that's not going to help you with anything. That's going to take you away from yourself. That's going to take you out of your mind and put you in the problems of stuff that you couldn't even be, in control of if you wanted to. Okay. Let's go to the next point of a bad source of stuff for your brain. I'm gonna say Facebook. I'd like to say all social media, but I'm biased. I don't think it's all bad. I'd say Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The big main ones. They're a bad source of information, I feel like, for you to be absorbing, because unless you're doing it for the right reasons, it's just not good in my opinion. Because first of all, majority of people that are on Facebook, there are statistics out there. A lot of them are depressed. They go in there to scan through things. They're posting problems. They're doing all this stuff, and it's just like the news. It's just, instead of it being like a mainstream article about some situation that happened on 4th Ave and blah blah blah, it's, hey, this is Tony Joe Smo and this is my news and personal stuff going on. So it's just one of those things where it's, again, taking you out of your own shoes and distracting you from what your focus goal and what your concentration should be on, to somebody else's problems, and that's just not the focus of what this is about. And so that's why I'm saying that Facebook is a bad way. I also feel like Twitter is too, because I just feel like a lot of Twitter and Facebook, it's just a back and forth arguments of people going, to battle over ideas and topics that aren't even relevant to either of their lives, but they just want to sit there and prove a point, and they're just jockeying for hierarchy positions and just to make them feel good, and just because they have real world problems, and so this is how they blow off steam. And it's just a toxic environment. And again, it's just one of those things, unless you need to go on Twitter for like news information that companies are posting. Like, I only check it because some video game companies post, hey, we're doing updates on their Twitter thing. I'll Google, hey, Apex Legends Twitter. I'll check it real quick, boom, click out of it and done. I'm not saying never go to these websites. I'm just saying they're not healthy to sit there and scroll on for hours and to entertain yourself. And Instagram's another one. Instagram's one of those ones where people scroll through and they see people on Instagram and they feel bad about themselves, or they will obsess about like how many likes they didn't get or did get, and it's just one of those things where you can get caught in a trap of something that's really not important. And Instagram, it's one of those things again where the only good reason I could see you could use it is like if you're trying to buy products and it's an Instagram startup product company, or like somebody advertises on there and you're trying to show something. But again, sitting there, going on there for hours, comparing yourself to other people and posting stuff on there and getting caught in that trap of Instagram, that side of it, I don't think is healthy. I think it's just going to tear you down and give you unrealistic standards, because everybody's playing their own game, and it's not fair to compare yourself to somebody's own set of rules and games if there's no possible way of you competing in that game and being like eligible to like even have a chance of winning. That sometimes people don't realize is that when they're comparing themselves to other people, it's not even really fair to compare, because it's like apples to oranges. Like, dude, like, how could you expect yourself to do that when, like, you don't even have. It's hard to get specific to think of that situation, because it's like if I was expecting my dog to be able to walk around and talk and tell me stuff, that'd be a real false expectation and real difficult set of rules for her to play by. But that's literally what people do, is like they'll compare themselves to celebrities, and it's just not fair, and that's just a trap to get caught in. And so that's why I really really don't recommend feeding your brain a lot of social media throughout the day. If you need to look up stuff, information, business, trying to do that kind of stuff, fine. But if you're trying to sit there and feel good, that's not going to help you. What's going to help you feel good? Books. Believe it or not, books. Now, because we've evolved in technology so much, we don't have to read traditionally. I actually do most of my reading through Audible, believe it or not, because I drive for a lot of time throughout the week. So Audible helps kill those drive times for me and feed my brain at the same time. So that's a good 2 birds in 1 stone. And then here, the second one, you could do ebooks. You can literally download any book, e-copy. Amazon does it. Everybody does it now. Everybody who sells books does it now. All the bookstores are going out of business. And also libraries. If you can't afford, to buy one, or the expenses of it, and you're just starting out, library, man. There's a library near you or somewhere you could go. You could get a book and you could rent it out, get a library card. I know it sounds lame, but whatever. If lame makes you successful, then keep being lame, in my opinion. Okay, what's another good one besides books? We could do. What else do I feed my brain? Oh, I guess I'll say educational videos, or videos that pertain to your trade. Or hobbies. Okay, so I watch a lot of YouTube videos on things about cars, different types of stuff that's coming out for them, engines, different types of like prototypes, and things that are coming out for EVs, and because all that stuff's to my trade in the automotive school that I'm going to. So that's all very constructive stuff for me. It's very interesting. Sometimes I get bored of it, so that's where I'll switch over to like the hobby side, where I'll watch I'll watch maybe updates about computer games that I play, or like different strategies people use, or maybe I'll just surf around and watch some funny car videos, because there's some people that post stuff like that do like crazy things with cars that are funny. Also, with educational videos, I'll look up a lot of things that I'm having trouble with at school, and there's so many educational videos on YouTube, it's crazy. You can find literally anything on there about what you're trying to do, and that's fun, because I'll sit there and watch things that I'm not even trade specific sometimes. Like I want to learn how to cook something, so I'll go watch that, and then I'll have something to cook or something. Educational videos, that's a big one. I'd say probably the last one. No, we'll just keep it at 2, because I'm running out of ideas. I'll have to come back to that in part 2. So this will wrap up part 1. Again, this is helping yourself, and this was part of my whole series that I guess I'm trying to do, which is my quest to self-mastery. I've been doing a lot by myself, and I've talked with a lot of people, and I guess the whole motivation of this is that I've been helping myself a lot, and I've been trying to follow everything that I mentioned in this video. I'm not perfect at it, but this helps it be more concrete within myself, because I'm putting it out there to a broader audience, which means I'm more accountable to that, even if I'm not in that weight of it is, how that feels like when you're like, oh, my parents are there watching me, like kind of things. So if I put this out there, it just makes it more concrete for myself, just like how I talk to all my friends about this stuff. So I appreciate you watching. You have a great day, and this is Kevin.